Let's take a look at over 50 different niches, and I'll tell you which ones we focus on to land high-ticket $10,000 and up clients, and which niches we avoid and why. Now, right off the bat, my favorite family of high-ticket niches is self-directed health, wellness, and fitness. And of that category, my top 3 favorite niches in that space are functional medicine, integrative medicine, and naturopathic care. And the reason for that is because people that are searching and needing those types of services often have pretty deep problems. The doctors can really provide amazing results. And all of that plays really nicely into our hand as web designers and digital marketers because there's a lot of education and content marketing that goes into the mix. So what that means is we can do a lot of great stuff for our doctors. The doctors are doing amazing things for the patients. The patients are getting life-changing results. And it's like really exciting and I love it. So like that's my favorite category of high-ticket niches. But there's other good ones too, like concierge doctors where you like subscribe to the doctor and you get like this really close relationship where you can send text messages, you get hour-long appointments and no wait times. And that's really cool. Holistic dentistry is another good one where it's like, no mercury in your fillings and low radiation x-rays and stuff like that. Anti-aging and personal care programs are really good. Reproductive health, dietitians and digestive health, tons of search volume for that. Hormonal health, autoimmune support, all of those are really good health niches for high-ticket clients because there's a lot of education that goes into, do I want that service? That means we're building landing pages and email opt-ins and email drip campaigns, even webinars and stuff. There's a lot of really good stuff that you can do as a web designer and digital marketer in that space. But also, fitness is pretty good too, as long as it's niche fitness. So you wouldn't want to focus on like 24/7 gyms or whatever that are just really generic services, but instead some kind of a niche fitness. And it could be an outcome that's the niche, which would be something like weight loss for women over 40, or it could be an activity that's a niche, like rucking or SEAL team workouts or CrossFit programs, because those are usually things where people stick with it for a while and the value of a client is at least $1,000. And that means you don't have to get your client all that many new customers to make a big deal. So those are great high ticket niches. Now, one thing that's interesting to note about all of that is that in the health and wellness and even in the fitness sector, about 75% of both the providers and the consumers are women. And so it's helpful to know that going in because that helps you do your targeting and get your messaging dialed in. So there you go for what I think are the best health and wellness categories. But there's some decent ones too. So these are not bad, just not quite as good. And that would be traditional dentistry, orthodontics, dermatologists, physical therapists. They're a little bit closer to the mainstream, so it's not quite as much like bite that comes into the digital marketing and the web design and everything. But it's great. It's high-ticket clients and great results all around for that. There are a few bad health niches that we just avoid altogether. And children's sports tends to be one of them, like, soccer, gymnastics, martial arts. And I think it's because it's not really a self-directed kind of thing. Usually the parents are searching on behalf of the children, and it just doesn't play as nicely with all of the digital marketing stuff that we can do. So we tend to avoid that. Surgeons and people that are in the medical sector where they get all of their leads from other professional referrals rather than self-directed search, we push that aside. Mental health is another one. Even though I think there is a fair degree of search volume for that topic, if you don't know what you're doing, you can get yourself into a lot of trouble because there's a lot of rules and laws about what you're allowed to say and how you're allowed to promote that service. And I don't consider myself an expert in that, and so I stay away from it. And then the last one that is just totally off the table are age-restricted products. Because, in fact, ironically, an earlier version of this video where I actually mentioned the name of age-restricted health products, Google denied or disapproved the whole video, so I had to re-record the thing. So that's the problem. It's like it's so volatile. It's like your videos get disapproved, Facebook bans your account. It's like you can't do the marketing. It's really, really hard to market that kind of a thing because of all the rules and regulations around it. And it just causes so many headaches that you don't have to have. So we push that off to the side. But so that's kind of my take on health, fitness, and wellness. Financial services also has a bunch of really good niches inside of it. So CPAs, accountants, bookkeepers, estate planning, property management, even real estate is really great. I'm not so sure that real estate is a financial service, but it's not like health and wellness either. So I just stuck it in this category. But I'm working with one double stacker right now who's focusing on real estate agents, and he's crushing. He's getting leads off TikTok. And in fact, he's getting so many leads, he just posted a video saying, hey, I'm not going to do any more videos right now. I'm too busy onboarding all the clients I've already got, right? So that's a great high ticket niche for web design and marketing. The bad ones, what about the financial services we avoid? It's really that high risk, volatile stuff like debt consolidation, debt repair, cryptocurrency, short-term loans. Like, I don't do any of that stuff. Another category of financial services I don't usually get involved with too much is stuff like mortgage lenders, because there's not a lot of search volume for that. Usually you're working with a real estate agent. They say, hey, use that guy, and you just do whatever they say. You just go with that guy. And so there's not a lot of independent, self-directed search for mortgage lenders, so we kind of stay out of that. And then the last one's insurance. That's a space that's just so saturated with really big players like Geico and State Farm, and it's like the ads are really expensive, and it's just really difficult to kind of penetrate into that market. Plus, it's not really that exciting of a topic anyway, so we don't really touch insurance that often. So that's kind of my take on financial services. But home services has a bunch of really cool high ticket niches in it too that might be even a little bit surprising. For example, cleaning services, that's really great for both residential and commercial, especially with all the health stuff that's been going on. Cleaning services are really popular. HVAC repair and sales is really good. Hardscaping, which would be like decks and patios and outdoor kitchens, even stuff like sport courts and maybe pools, like all of those are really great high ticket niches. Garage doors, both sales and service. Home automation is an often overlooked niche. That's definitely high ticket because there's a lot of really cool stuff you can do in that space. Irrigation systems is another one that I think gets overlooked a lot. Roofing, water softeners, and water filters. Like anything to do with that water filtering and softening stuff is really interesting because there's so much you need to know. Like, is it city water? Is it well water? Is it hard water? What do you want to filter in? Like, there's a lot of education that goes into like water stuff. So like that's a really great thing because that's really good for email opt-ins and lead nurturing campaigns. And it's also really cool because it's a consumable product. Like you have to keep buying the filters, which means that you can help your clients set up stuff like subscribe and save features, and that helps drive more revenue for them. So that's really cool. And then pest control. That's another kind of surprising niche that's high ticket because there's a lot of education that goes into that too. Like, how big is your house? Do you want to do inside or outside? What chemicals do you want to avoid? Do you have pets? Do you have children? What kind of bugs are we talking about? There's a lot of stuff that can go into that as well. So pest control is a really good one. Plus, that's another recurring service as well. So those are great home services. There's also some decent home services, maybe not quite as good as those, but it's definitely not bad. Lawn care is one that I put in that category because the reason lawn care is in the decent category, not good, is there's a lot of lawn care people that are just kind of doing it on the side, like a side hustle, not really looking to make $100,000 or more. And if you're not looking to make over $100,000, you don't really need to spend $10,000 or more on your marketing. So if you're going to do lawn care, make sure that people are in it for like a full-time job, $100,000 and up kind of business. Plumbers and electricians, they're high ticket, a little bit more generic than some of the other ones that I put in like the good home service category, but still high ticket and good niches. And that's kind of what I think about that. So what about the bad ones? There's some bad home services I tend to avoid. Window replacement. That's one where like most of the people that do the window replacement, they're reselling products from another company. And then you have all these restrictions as to what you're allowed to say about the windows and all this stuff because like the parent company is controlling all the marketing and so you get a lot of limitations on what you can do as a web designer or digital marketer. So we tend not to touch window replacement. Mailbox repair. I threw this one in. It's kind of like an example of a hobby job. Meaning like not that many people are repairing more than $100,000 of mailboxes every year. And so they probably don't need to spend more than $10,000 on their marketing, right? Because it's just something they do on the side. Handyman and general contracting services. That's an example of a niche that's just too broad to really be effective. Like who goes onto Google and says general contractors near me? Like nobody does that. They type things like bathroom remodeling or kitchen remodeling or something more specific. So you want to avoid these overly broad niches. Interior decorators. This is one where it seems like most of their leads come from like furniture stores and referrals from there. There's not that much search volume, so we tend to avoid interior designers and interior decorators. And then the last one I put in here was like phone, TV, and internet services. And these people tend to have the same problem that the window replacement people have, where they're basically just reselling larger branded stuff. And there's limitations on what you can say, and the parent companies control the marketing. And it's just kind of frustrating for us as web designers and digital marketers to have to deal with all of those limitations. So if we haven't hit on one of the niches that you are thinking about, here are 5 guiding principles for how to pick a good niche for high-ticket clients. Number 1, make sure that your client's customer is worth at least $1,000 a year. That way you don't have to get too many clients coming in to actually make it like a meaningful thing. You don't have to do high velocity to make a high impact. Number 2, make sure that your client can sustain at least $100,000 of revenue per year. If they can't, they probably don't need to spend $10,000 on marketing. Number 3, you're looking for self-directed stuff like business to consumer, business to small business, short sales cycle. They can decide if they want to work with you right away. That's a good indicator that it's going to be a good niche. And then 4, you want to avoid super generalized services like handyman services, general contractors and stuff. And then 5, avoid those headache niches, which are like age-restricted products and like super high-risk stuff. And if you do that, you'll probably have a really good niche for landing $10,000 and up clients. So now that you've got your niche picked out, check out this next video and I'll show you how to get leads for it.